guys, Sheila here with Just Breathe Yoga and Bodywork in beautiful uptown Martinsville, Virginia. We're located on 4 East Main Street in uptown Martinsville. So thank you for joining us today. Just a couple of things I wanted to share with you today. I am wearing Perfectly Zen by Botanically Rooted, and also Stay Well by Botanically Rooted. This is where I did my aromatherapy training with Cynthia Lovings. The business was recently sold and now is called Botanically Rooted. It was called Loving Sense Aromatherapy. So trying to keep myself zen and well, as I hope you are too. I decided today that I would do a yoga class for back care and the hamstrings, the inner thighs, the outer hips, the quadratus lumborum. All of that can, among some other things, can create some low back issues for people. So the class I chose offers hip openers, hamstring openers, inner thigh openers, outer hip stuff. And we have 1 or 2 standing poses and a couple of twists. But before we actually get started, I wanted to share something that spoke to me this morning, and hopefully it will have a little effect on your heartstrings as well. So it's this: in a world full of fear, be courageous. In a world full of lies, be honest. In a world where few care, be compassionate. In a world full of phonies, be yourself. Because the world sees you. The world hopes for you. The world is inspired by you. And the world can be better because of you. So let's all make a world a better place. So let's start by centering. I'm sitting on a block this morning. You can sit in several different positions. I'll be sitting in what's called Virasana, but I have to have a little height in case I'm going to sit there for a length of time. You could sit on a chair for the centering practice. You can also sit easy cross-legged position, but if you do, make sure that you are elevated up enough so that when you cross the legs, that the knees and the hip points are level. You don't want to sit like this. And that's what I look like when I'm not sitting on some props. So elevate. The other option that you can sit in is called Dandasana. I'll do that from the side. However, you might need a little support underneath you to help lift the spine a little higher. I'll show it sitting on a block. So now I can extend my legs out and still be upright in my spine versus slumpy in my spine. And this happens sometimes as the back gets tired when we're centering. So, let me show this one for you. I'll place the block on you put it on the middle height of the block if you have one at home, and then bring your sitting bones down to it. That just gives a little more height, so it's less pressure across the top of the foot and ankles, and even possibly in the knees. I'm actually going to turn mine down for our centering practice. Okay, so if you would, draw the flesh away from your sitting bones and then choose a position for your palms. It could be down or up. In times like these, I like my palms down so that I can feel more grounded, but there are times that I like to practice with my palms up so that I can be open and receiving to what the world has to offer. But today I'll use palms down. So allow your eyes to close and begin to direct your attention inward away from the outside world. Allow this time to be just for you. And once you feel as if the mind is drawn inward, take your attention to your physical body. Scan the body from the top of the head to the tips of the toes, being aware of parts of the body that are asking for compassion. They are asking for a little extra care. And then make a commitment to the self to move slowly through your practice, to try to focus the breath into the areas that might be tender and stressed. And then turn your attention to your breath. And follow the inhale and the exhale. And now bring to mind an intention for your practice. So we set the intention, or sankalpa, so that our practice has purpose. Once your intention is set, lift your palms together in front of your heart center. Allow the thumbs to rest at the breastbone, the center of the breastbone. And as you exhale, slowly bow head to heart, placing the intention into the heart center. We formed it within the mind, and we offer it to the heart. And slowly release your hands down, and gently open your eyes and lift your gaze. So let's begin by taking the arms out to the side. Inhale your arms up and overhead. Interlace your fingers, spin your palms upward. Root your sitting bones down. Lift the belly. Lift the sides of the waist. Hug the inner elbows in. Lift the palms upward. Bow your chin to your chest. Remember to focus the breath in the body. Notice where it moves, where the breath may be stuck. And then separate your hands out to the sides and down. Slowly lift your gaze. Let's take a twist to the left. So take your left hand behind you, right hand to the outside of the leg. Ground the left fingertips into the floor. Inhale, lift up. As you exhale, press leg and hand together to begin your rotation to your left. Align your nose with your breastbone, so we're not moving too far into the future. We're staying right here in the present moment. Inhale, lift up, possibly twist a little deeper if it is in your body this morning. Inhale, lift up, and as you exhale, return to center. Take your left hand behind you. Bring your right hand to the outside of the leg. Inhale, lift up. As you exhale, gently start your rotation to your right. Again, keep the nose aligned with your breastbone. And if you have it in the body, inhale, lift a bit more. And as you exhale, rotate. Inhale, lift up. As you exhale, come back to center. Extend the legs forward in staff pose. And this helps to reset the knee joints. So I've got my fingertips pressing to the floor to assist the lift of my spine. Squeeze the thigh muscles to the bone. Press your thigh bones down as you push out through the 4 points of your feet. Then release. Squeeze the thigh muscles to the bone. Press your thigh bones down. Push to the 4 points of your feet. And release. And then repeat. Let's do that 3 more times. And then slowly use the hands to draw the feet in towards the pelvic floor for Baddha Konasana. So in Baddha Konasana, we press the soles of the feet together, press the back of the legs together, so hamstrings to calf tissue, and then lengthen inner groins to the knees, and then allow the outer thighs to drop down. Keep the bottom of the belly lifted to help support the lift of the spine. And then press the outer edges of your feet together to spin your feet open like a book. And then can you press all 10 toes down, tops of the toes down into the floor. And it's okay if you're on page 1, but keep working at it. And then close the feet. Support the outer legs, draw them up. Extend your legs out, press them down one more time. And then we'll come off of our block and come down onto the floor just to kind of get an assessment of what our hamstrings feel like today. If when you come down to the floor, your chin is elevated higher than your forehead, please put a blanket or towel down to support the neck and the head. You want the chin and the forehead level. Okay, so I'm going to recline onto my back body. You'll need a belt or a tie. So let's come down onto the back with the feet planted to the floor. Shoulder blades rest to the floor. And draw your right knee into your chest. Hook the belt around the heel mound and take your leg upward to straight. Now, if you're new to the practice, you can keep your left knee bent. But if you've got a regular practice, go ahead and extend your left leg out to straight. Then maybe lift your head up to make sure that the toes are pointing straight upward towards the ceiling. You want to be on the center of your heel. Okay, and then pin the shoulder blades to the floor. Okay, so our actions for today are going to be to push through 4 points of your feet, firm your thigh muscles to the bone, and lift the bottom of the belly in and up. Now, we're going to add a little something to this today. So put the belts in your left hand. Take the L shape of your right hand, hook it into the hip crease, and then wrap your fingers around the outer hip. On your exhale, push the outer hip away from the head. Now, we'll be using this in several other poses today when we're standing. So notice if you feel a different sensation when you draw the outer hip away from the head. Keep your thigh muscles engaged and keep the feet moving away from the pelvis while lifting the bottom of the belly. Okay. Release the hip, go back to holding the belt with 2 hands, bend the knees, lower down, extend that leg out and see if you can notice a difference in your sides. Bend both knees. Draw your left knee into your chest, hook the belt around the left heel mound, take the leg up. And again, you can keep the knee bent or you can extend the leg out to straight. Our actions again are to push the 4 points of your feet. Hug your kneecaps and thighs to the bone. Well, when the thigh muscles are engaged, it lifts the kneecaps up. So I'm glad I caught that. Lift the bottom of the belly and then pin the shoulder blades down. Put the belts into your right hand. Use the L shape of your left hand. Hook it into your hip crease and then move the outer hip away from the head. And then reconnect back in with your actions. Push the feet away. Firm the thigh muscles to the bone. Lift the bottom of the belly. Keep the outer left hip moving away from the head. Micro bend the knee, release the belt, lower the leg down. Now know at home you can stay longer in the poses if you wish. So I'm going to rebend my knees,
Draw the right leg in, hook the belt around the heel now, take the leg to straight. I want to take the tails of the belt over to the right, just so they're not draping across my body. I'm going to hold the belt in my right hand. Extend the left leg out, and again, the toes point up so that we're on the center of the heel versus rolling out to the side. The leg will get lazy. So push the feet away, firm your thigh muscles to the bone, lift the belly. Take the left arm off to the side for now. You can use it to help you ground. But on your exhale, take the right leg to the right. Now I'm using my arm off of the floor. You can make a kickstand with the tricep and the elbow, placing it down to the floor. Actions here are push the feet away from the pelvis. Keep the thigh muscles engaged. Lift the bottom of the belly up and away, and then lengthen the inner right ankle bone away from the inner left hip. With a strong exhalation and the use of your hands, bring your leg up to center. Bend the bottom knee, release the belt, maybe extend the legs out to straight. Feel in the body. We need to all get in a habit of feeling in the body before the check engine light comes on. And then we wonder, what the world? So from bent knees, draw the left leg in. I'm going to have to scoot away from the wall a little bit here. Hook the belt around the left heel mound. Take the tails of the belt over to the right. Belt will be in my left hand. Extend the right leg out. And take the left arm off to the side if that works well for you. So again, push the feet away from the pelvis. Firm your thighs. Lift your belly. And as you exhale, take your left leg to the left. Oh, I've got the wall to support me now. So I can really push the 4 points of the feet away. Hug the thigh muscles to the bone. Lift my belly and then lengthen left ankle bone away from right inner hip. You can make a tricep if you need to with the other arm. A kickstand, meaning rest your triceps to the floor. And then with a strong exhalation, bring that leg up to center. Bend the bottom knee, bend the knee. Release the belt, lower down. Take a second to feel in the body. Feels so good to move. Now let's bend the knee. Draw the right knee back into the chest. Take the belt around the head of the heel now. Hold the belts in your right hand. Again, use the L shape of your right hand into your hip crease. Slide the left leg out. Push the feet away from the pelvis. Firm your thighs, lift your belly. And as you exhale, draw the right foot in line with the left shoulder. Now with the L shape of that hand, roll the hip away. So we've put space between the hip point and the last rib. And you'll feel all of the outer leg and hip. Bring the leg to center, bend the bottom knee, release the top leg, extend it out. Feel for just a moment. Now let's repeat to the other side. Bend the knees, left knee in, right, the leg goes up, belts go in your right hand, take the tail of the belt to the other side. L shape of your left hand goes into your outer hip crease. Extend the right leg out. Push the feet away from the pelvis. Firm your thighs, lift your belly, and on your exhale, move your right foot in line with your right shoulder. Use your left hand to roll the outer hip away. Lovely. Bring that leg back up to center. Bend the bottom knee. Release the foot to the floor. Okay, so I'm going to turn around so that I can have my feet to the wall. So my head will be towards you. So we're going to do a variation of eye of the needle with the feet on the wall and with a little bit of a twist. So I want to stack my feet. I'll bring my feet to the wall, stack my knees over top of the hips, forming that 90-degree angle, and take the right ankle and place it to the outside of the left knee. Now keep the sacrum balanced to the floor. I'm going to scoot back just a tad. Okay, and then I want to hook the heel of my hand into the thigh and gently slide it forward. Keep the foot flexed in. Keep the bottom of the belly lifted. Notice sensation in your outer right hip. We did this the other day sitting on a chair. So now we're going to creep that left foot over and down the wall so that the right foot makes its way to the floor. Use your left hand to the inside of that right leg. Take your right arm on the diagonal from the shoulder, and then take a breath, and as you exhale, move the knee towards the wall and the hand away from the body. And then bring the arm back in. You can use the left foot to walk your way back up the wall. And now let's do the other side by crossing the left ankle over the right knee. Keep the sacrum balanced to the floor. Flex your left foot in. Take your left hand, hook it into that hip crease. Well, it's not really the hip crease, it's the fleshy part of the inner thigh. Slide the hand forward. A gentle pressure, no forcing. No forcing. Notice what you feel in your left outer hip. Begin to walk your right foot down the wall. Let the left foot find the floor. Take your left arm off to the side. Take your right hand to the knee. And then gently press as you reach your left hand away from the body. And then bring that left hand back in. Walk your right foot back up the wall. Now, let's roll over. And then push ourselves back up so that we end back up on the back body. And let's separate. I'll need to move this. I'm going to separate your feet wider than your sticky mat. So lift your right foot up. Keep your right heel on the floor though. But drop your right knee into the midline of your mat. Now lift your head up to make sure that you're forming a 90-degree ankle here. And then lift your left foot off the mat. Place your left ankle in that knee crease. Now, both legs lengthen away from the body as you lift the bottom of the belly up. And then you can counter that by drawing the right hip, right low belly, right ribs back towards the floor. It's not going to make it, but we can see it happening in the body. Keep both feet flexed in. And now to come out, we place the left foot back on the floor and very gently bring the right leg back up. Now lift the left toes away from the floor. Keep the left heel on the floor. As you exhale, drop your left knee in towards the mat. If it's okay for your body, you can lift your right foot off the floor, hook the right ankle bone into the left knee crease, or you could just stay at stage 1 of dropping the knee in. Now, both thigh bones lengthen away from the pelvis as you lift the bottom of the belly up. And we breathe. And then with the lifting of the belly, the hip draws slightly back to the left, the belly to the left, the ribs to the left. lift your right foot up. Slowly draw the left leg up. Walk your feet back into mid-mat. Take a moment and feel. So let's roll to the right. Push yourself upward. We're going to set up for Ekapada Supta Virasana. Probably not one of my favorite poses, but one very beneficial to the body. So I'm going to put the block, I'm going to sit my bottom on the block. Okay. So keep your left knee bent, but draw your right leg back into Virasana. And then take the fingertips behind you, palms behind you. Now, here we lengthen the thigh bone forward and down as we lift the bottom of the belly in and up so that we get the stretch across the front of the thigh. And we're opening here at the hip joint. Now, you can add another piece to it by drawing the knee inward to the midline a little bit. Now, if you have it in your body, you can go all the way down onto your elbows. Just don't let your right knee pop away from the floor. Keep working it down. I'll say more in the upright version of it. You'd hold for probably 9 breaths. Use your hands, press down, lift up. Now I have to roll a little bit to the left to bring the foot forward again. And right knee stays bent, the left leg is going to go back. Okay, and then we walk the hands back, any amount. Lengthen your thigh bone forward, away from the pelvis as you lift the bottom of the belly. And then if you wish to add a bit more, step the left knee in towards the midline, continuing to lengthen, and again, work your way down onto your elbows. Just keep the knee moving down. And hold for 9 breaths. Slowly push yourself upward. And then shift a little bit to your right to bring your left leg out. So we're going to come up and take our practice to standing. So now I want to move, I think my mat will be okay for this one. I have my mat about a thigh bone's distance away from the wall. And we need a block. So my feet will still be on my sticky mat, but the block will be between my knees. Okay, so align your pinky toe and outer heels. Yes, okay. Now the block is on the knee joint itself, so if you need something a little softer, you could roll a towel up. A dish towel will work really well, okay? So I have my sacrum and low back towards the wall, or back, I should say back pelvis on the wall, and shoulder blades on the wall, okay? So lift the toes up and away from the mat and feel some engagement in your inner thighs. And then as you exhale, bend your knees, let your hips slide down the wall a little bit. I'm keeping my hips above the knees for now. Okay, so we'll just do 3 without really any actions, and then we'll add a few actions. Now press your feet into the floor, slowly slide back upright. And take another breath, and as you exhale, bend your knees, sink down. Keep the toes lifted up and away from the floor if that works for you. Otherwise, let them come back down. With the toes elevated, you feel more engagement in the quads and along the shins. And then slowly come up. And let's do one more. Exhale, bend your knees. And let's push into the floor, slide up. So we actually have 2 more sets. We'll be adding on another action or 2 each time we do it.
So again, press your feet down. This time hug your inner thighs and inner knees slightly inward to your prop. And then exhale, bend your knees. Let your hips slide down the wall. Press the back of your pelvis to the wall, lumbar region to the wall. And then slowly press back up. 2 more. Lift the toes. Hug your inner thighs inward. Slowly bend. Press the back pelvis to the wall, the lumbar spine to the wall. Keep the bottom of the belly lifted. Creating strong legs here. And then slowly slide back up. So we have one more like this, and then we'll add another action. So as you exhale, bend your knees. Keep the toes lifted or let them go down, whatever works best for you. Hug your inner thighs in towards the block. Lift your belly, pelvis and lumbar towards the wall. One more breath. Slowly lift. You can take your block out for just a moment. Feel sensation and warmth in your quadriceps. And why would we even practice this anyway? Well, we want our legs to be strong so that the legs support the upper body and spine against gravity, the effects of gravity. If not, all that energy is going to dump in the lumbar region at the back and create discomfort. So again, place your block back between your legs. Okay? So lift your toes, bend your knees, hug your inner thighs in, lift your belly up, back pelvis towards the wall. Now lift your chest up and back. One more breath. Press into the floor, lift up. So we have 2 more to go. As you exhale, bend your knees, sink the pelvis. Keep the toes lifted or float them down. Hug your inner thighs to the block. Back pelvis towards the wall, low back towards the wall. Chest lifts up and back. And then press your feet down, slide up. So we have 1 more. Exhale, bend your knees. Lift your toes. Hug your inner thighs and knees to block. Back pelvis presses to the wall. Shoulders lift up and back. One more breath. Press the feet down, slide up. Remove your block. Woohoo! Okay, so now our mat has to go towards the wall. And if you don't have an empty space in your house with a wall, that's okay. Just have something for balance. So I'm going to position my chair so that it's about 1.5 feet distance of one of my feet. So I'll put my back heel to the wall and then set the arch of the other foot so that the arch lines up with my big toe. And that's really where I want the chair legs to sit at. Okay? All right, now I'm going to put the left leg completely up against the wall if possible. I know for some of us that may not be doable. And then lift your right foot up and put it onto the chair. Now you want to make sure that your right knee is slightly higher than the right hip. So I need a little extra something in order to make that happen. So I'm going to get my block and place my block on the lowest level. Okay, you could use a book at home if needed. So left leg goes back to the wall. I got the wall for support. Now I want to step my right foot up onto the block. Yeah. Now with the left leg, ground the 4 points of your feet. Lift your thigh muscles and press your thigh bone back. Press your front foot down. Lift the bottom of the belly, lift the sides of the waist, and lift out through the crown of your head. And then shift your weight to your left, step your right leg down. Slide your block over to the side. Place your right leg up against the wall if you can. Shift your weight onto the right leg, bring your left leg up. Okay? So ground your right foot into the floor. Contract your quadriceps and press your right thigh bone back. Press your left heel down. Now keep knee over ankle. Mine was a little off. We'll repeat it a second time in just a moment. Keep the bottom of the belly lifted. Chest is broad. Shoulder blades are to the wall. And then shift your weight and come down. Let's go back to the other side. Ground your left foot. Place your right foot up onto the block. Now, as we did earlier in Big Toe Pose 1, when we were reclined, we used the L shape of the hand. We're going to do that again. So take the L shape of your right hand into your right hip crease. Now, on your exhale, press your outer right hip down. We're trying to create equal length on both sides of the waistline. So, right knee over right ankle, left foot grounds, left thigh lifts, left thigh bone presses back to the wall, outer right hip drops down, bottom of the belly lift, chest lifts. And release. Let's go to the other side. Slide your block. Right foot grounds, left foot comes up onto the block. Left knee over left ankle, left hand into left hip crease, drop the hip down. Ground the right foot into the floor, contract your right quadriceps, press your thigh bone back to the wall. Lift your belly, lift your chest, broaden across your collarbones. And then release. Now, for the next one, we're going to put the chair to our right. And in tightness in the low back will show up here in the fact that you'll see it. You'll probably see it in my backside. So right now, my shirt, no wrinkles. There might be wrinkles when I do this. You see my tightness on the right side of the body. So I want you to stand facing the wall. Chair's going to be to the right. I've got my block there. And now shift your weight onto your left foot and bring your right foot up onto the block. Now, the space here on the right side of the lumbar, that's what we want to create space there by dropping that right hip down. So I've placed the L shape of the hand into the hip crease and dropped it down. And I want it to stay. So ground your left foot into the floor, press your right foot into the block, lengthen inner groin to knee, right hip down, right buttocks forward, and then lift and spin the torso to face the wall. So getting the adductors, the inner thigh muscles. You'll hold for several breaths and then step off of the chair and feel. Now, we're going to go straight to another one without having to move the chair around a lot. And I will keep the block on its lowest level again. And it resembles Parsva Supta Padangusthasana. It's an inner thigh stretch, but the leg is out to straight. So have the heel and the arch lined up. Okay, so press down in your left foot, push out to your right. Lift your kneecaps and thighs. Lift your belly. Drop your outer right hip down. Draw the right buttocks forward. And then spin the belly to face directly forward to the wall in front of you. So here again, you lengthen the ankle bone, right ankle bone, away from your inner left hip. And then I can step off of the chair. So let's go to the other side. We start facing the wall. Bring the left foot up onto the block. Stack the knee over top of the ankle. So ground your right foot. And then L shape of your left hand helps to drop the left hip down. Draw the left buttock forward as you lengthen inner groin to knee. Lift your belly and spin your belly and ribs to face the wall. You can hold for a couple of breaths, release, and come back to center. Okay, so now we're going to put the back body on the wall and bring the foot up onto the block facing forward. So I'm going to bring the right foot up onto the block. Yes. Now, with my arm, I can use palm forward. I want to drop the outer right hip down. My right buttocks is on the wall, left will not be. Keep your left hand on your hip crease, right onto the inner knee. Inhale, lift up so you equally lengthen both sides of the waist, and then move these two parts away from each other. Remember, no forcing. And release. Set the right leg down to the floor. Feel. Possibly step off to the side a little bit. Slide your block over on your chair. Left foot's going to stay grounded. Right leg is going to come up onto the chair. Now flex your foot in. I hyperextend, so I got to keep a micro bend there. Root your left foot down. Let's bring that block back a little bit. Yes, there we go. Okay, so root your left foot down. Lift your thighs. Flex your right foot in, lengthen inner groin to inner heel, and away from the hip. And then bend the knee, come off the chair. Let's put the chair to the other side. Block close to the wall. We start with the bent knee first. So right leg is going to ground. My left leg comes up onto the chair. With the bent knee, I'm going to keep the knee over top of the ankle. Then I got to drop that hip down. Use the back of your left arm to keep the knee moving towards the wall so it doesn't move forward. Mine wants to shift forward. No. So I'm going to use my right hand to encourage the right hip point away from the inner left knee. Lift the belly, lift your sides of your waist, lift your chest. And then release. You could hold longer if you wanted to, but for purposes of loading the videos, I'm having to make them a little bit shorter than normal. So let's bring the left leg up onto the chair. Bring the right hand to the inside of the leg. Okay, align pinky toe and outer heel. My left buttocks is on the wall, right one is not. Flex your foot in, push out through the 4 points of both feet. So down into the earth and forward into space. Contract your quadriceps. Right thigh bone presses back, left thigh bone presses down. Left buttocks presses forward. Lift the belly, lift the sides of the waist, lift the chest, shoulders down. And then bend the knee and come down. So now we're going to turn sideways for this one. Turn my block up one. Step my chair away from the wall a little bit. So it's big toe pose one standing. I'll use the hand to the wall to support me. We'll do right and left leg here. So we'll bring the right leg up onto the block. Use your right hand into the right hip crease. You can step away from the wall a little more if you need it, but use your right hand to drop your outer hip down. And then look down at that bottom foot. It'll want to do a dance. No, no. Keep your pinky toe and outer heel aligned. Squeeze your quadriceps. Lift the bottom of the belly, lift your chest. If you don't feel anything here, you can always turn your block up higher. Let me show that briefly. Now we can get into some juicy stuff. And then bring the foot down. Let's slide the block to the other side of the chair. Now let me turn around. This way you can see me drop that outer hip. Okay, so I'm gonna hold on to the wall with my right hand. Bring my left hand up on, left foot onto the chair. Left hand into my hip crease. Drop the hip down so the pelvis is level. Now, ground your right foot into the floor. Push the 4 points of your left foot. Firm your thigh muscles to the bone. Whoops. Lift the bottom of the belly, lift your chest. I took my focus off what I was doing and down I came. And then bend the knee. Place the foot towards the mat. Now, we'll go back to the other side. So we revolve it. Okay? So, this time, my left, got the chair on the wrong side of you. Nope, I don't know. Musical chairs. Lovely, right? Okay, so now, the left foot goes onto the block. I might have to scoot a little closer to the wall. Okay. Right leg is going to ground. Left leg is going to push forward. Thigh bone is going to press down. Knock the back of the knee. And then I want to spin the torso towards the wall. So lift the bottom of the belly up. Exhale. Push your left hand into the wall to spiral the belly towards the wall. Keep your outer left hip dropping down. Drop the shoulder blades down. Lift the gaze directly in front of the wall in front of you. Hold for a couple of breaths. Slowly unwind. Bend the knee foot down. Now, let's bring the chair to the other side. Set the block up. Bring your right leg onto the block. Left leg directly under the pelvis. Push through the 4 points of your feet. Contract your quadriceps, lift them up. Lift your belly, and as you exhale, spin the belly button towards the wall. So the more you push into the wall with your right hand, the more rotation you're going to get. And then slowly unwind, come back to center. Now, I'm going to move the chair out of the way and move the mat a little more forward. Okay. So now I want to put my chair on my mat. Here. I'm going to center it a little better. chair so the back of my chair is facing the studio window, and have a seat. And I'm not sitting way back in the seat. I'm sitting about midway. I'm gonna put the block between the inner thighs. And that's just so that we stabilize everything. I want more of the twist today and be in the upper body. So knees over ankles, hug your inner thighs to the block. As you inhale, lift up through your left arm, rotate slightly, bring your hand to the chair back. Take your right hand to the chair. As you inhale, lift up. As you exhale, rotate the torso to your left. Now it's a push-pull effect, so you can push with your left hand and pull with your right hand. Inhale, lift. Exhale, push, pull. Don't forget to expand the breath in all directions. And then slowly unwind back to center. And let's place the chair on the other side of your sticky mat. And repeat to the other direction. So the block goes between the inner thighs. As you inhale, sweep your right arm up and over. Hold your chair. Take your left hand, hold the chair back. Inhale, lift up. Squeeze your inner thighs to the block, and as you exhale, rotate your torso to your right. Don't let your shoulder blades creep up. I found that happening in my body. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, rotate. One more breath. And then slowly unwind, bring your torso back to center. We can set the block off to the side. We're getting ready to come down to the mat now. Okay, so I'm going to set the chair there. We'll come back and get it in just a second. So you might want to have your belt handy again. I'm going to check back in with the hamstrings and see if something is different. So firm reclined, have your knees bent, and then inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. As you exhale, draw your right knee into your chest so you feel the low back stretch out. And then inhale, arms overhead, foot to floor. Exhale, draw your left knee into the chest. Inhale, arms overhead, foot to floor. Exhale, right knee to the chest. Slide your left leg out. Bend your left knee, left foot to the floor. Inhale, arms overhead, feet to floor. Exhale, left knee to chest. Slide your right leg out. Make sure toes stay pointing straight up. The leg doesn't get lazy. Bend your right knee. Inhale, arms overhead, foot to floor. Let's do double knees to chest. Exhale, draw both knees in. And I'm doing it from bent knees today because it was a back hair class. So inhale, take the arms overhead, feet to the floor. Exhale, both knees in. Inhale, arms overhead, feet to floor. Exhale, both knees in. And feet to the mat. Now, find your belt. Put your belt around your right heel mound. Take your right leg up. Oh, how have my hamstrings changed? And then slide the left leg out if you wish. Your shoulder blades moving down towards the floor. The feet lifting upward towards the ceiling. Thigh bones engaged, bottom of the belly lifts. And then bend the bottom knee, release the top foot down. Draw the left leg in, take the left leg up. Slide the right leg out if that's doable for your body today. How has the hamstring changed on this side?
one, let's look at Supta, Parshva Supta Padangusthasana. Take it out to the side as you exhale. Has your range of motion improved any? A strong exhale, bring it to center. Switch legs. Has it improved on this side? Use your exhale to bring it to center. Parivrita, Supta Padangusthasana. Belt in the left hand. Move your right foot in line with your left shoulder. Move your outer hip down. Bring the leg back in. Bend the bottom knee. Release. Go to the other side. Left leg up, right leg out. Use your exhale to align the big toe with the right shoulder. Move your outer left hip towards the end of the mat. Bring the leg back to center. Bend the knee. Release the top leg. Set your belt off to the side. Just extend your legs out for a moment. Feel. And bend the knees. Feet to floor. Roll to your right. And we'll do Shavasana with the chair today. But know that if you don't have one, you can just roll your blankets up and stick it underneath the knees. Or put one up underneath the head. So I'm going to have one blanket for my head. And one blanket for the chair back. Now, this is a wrinkled old mess. So we can't have that. We might have to have some blanket folding 101 so that all of the edge that's going to support my neck is nice and smooth. You know, sometimes when I'm teaching classes, I just see people throw those blankets back there any old way. We spent all this time to help the body. Let's make it just as nice and comfortable in Shavasana as we possibly can. So you recline to the floor, swing your legs up onto your chair. Let your arms be about 6 inches away from your hips. Let the blanket support the neck and head and allow your eyes to close. And sometimes in Shavasana, we have to give the body permission to let go. So maybe give your parts permission. So invite a slow, deep breath into your body. As you exhale, bend your knees, placing your feet to the front edge of your chair. And carefully roll over onto the right side of the body. Pause for just a moment. And keep the nervous system as calm as possible. And then use your left hand and your right forearm to press down, to push yourself upward. And then again, back into a comfortable seated posture. So I want us to close with the same little reading that I started with earlier for class.
So if you would, bring your palms together in front of your heart center, and then bow the wisdom of your mind to the wisdom of the heart, and allow these words to penetrate into your heart center. In a world full of fear, be courageous. In a world full of lies, be honest. In a world where few care, be compassionate. In a world full of phonies, be yourself. Because the world sees you. The world hopes for you. The world is inspired by you. And the world can be better because of you. Thank you all for joining me today. Namaste.